You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Welcome back. It's the end of the week in Gauge. Hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. If you did a Thanksgiving thing, again, Canadian, European, somewhere else, maybe you just didn't, or just maybe you didn't care. But if you did, hope you had a good day.
You didn't need a holiday to eat that much. That's just Thursday for some people.
Yeah, for me, and a Tuesday, and a Wednesday,
Exactly.
and other days. Yeah.
It's July 4th somewhere.
It is. But here we are, and here you are tuning in to Engage, where Norman and I answer the comments and questions and emails and all the stuff that's been rattling around in the mission log inbox. Sometimes very recent, sometimes very old. This one's, going back a little bit because we covered this episode a little while ago. But but this is fun. So, Norman, take it away. It's an email from Alex.
So Alex says, "Hi, John and Norman. I just wanted to say you have my sympathies." Starts off
starting out great.
I know I'm a staunch defender of DS9, but Profit and Lace is a terrible thing to behold. I think there's a strong case to be made that it is worse than the worst episodes of all Star Trek series that are not currently airing. You are brave and noble people, and your morality has always been of great character. I am truly sorry this podcast meant you had to watch this episode and perhaps more than once.
We did.
It's not just that it's transphobic and sexist, but also that it's cringy and embarrassing. And you are so right that opening with Quark doing sexual harassment is hideously wrong. If they wanted to show Quark being sexist, they could have had him complaining to someone about his mother's feminism, which they did. Mm-hmm. The only saving grace of this episode that your podcast managed to find in it is the gag about Sluggo Cola, and even that is just some kind of funny stuff amidst the devastation. Sincerely, Alex. This is a great way to end the week.
I love it. Alex, that is awesome. I love your email, and thank you for being so generous with your compliments and your sympathies for us. Yeah, I mean, that episode is so cringy in so many ways, but it was almost like a challenge, just kind of like, ooh, how are we going to talk about all this awfulness? Still call out where they did things well. Like, Armin is and always will be a good actor, great actor, no matter what. Mm-hmm. And here you hand a material that is just not good material, but you can't fault Armin for that. True. As opposed to episodes where you just go like, oh, okay, well, this episode is particularly boring, or this episode has a particularly bad message, or whatever. It may not hold up for other reasons. This one is just so bizarre, and I was not expecting it when we got there.
You know, I think that we both said somewhere in the same tone of, how could Star Trek writers look at the script and actually say there is a Star Trek theme or tone anywhere in this episode? I think the big problem is that this episode, it dates itself to being something that was, I do believe I said this in our review, that was prevalent and predominant in late 90s TV, whether it's sitcom TV or science fiction TV. One of my favorite TV shows of all times is Wings, and I was watching it not too recently, and I could not believe the level of humor that was aimed at the homosexual community, with the way that some of the characters behaved effeminately, in a way to in a way to generate laugh tracks.
Yeah.
And the way that they used femininity or being effeminate, if I'm using those words correctly, if I'm not, I apologize, but I think you know what I'm trying to say, is that they're trying to make male characters more male by making other male characters act feminine or gay or somewhere in between. And I think that this episode, the way that they presented the situation that Quark had to be in, was probably everything about 90s humor in that vein at its worst, at its absolute uncreative worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's part of the problem is like, it always bears repeating. When we're critical of Star Trek, it's because we love Star Trek and we're doing this gig because we love Star Trek and we think it's important and has something to say. So you run into an episode like this and just go, oh my God, where did this go off the rails? And part of the fun of it is the production reality, which I always love to temper my criticism or understanding of an episode with. Get to a point where, you've run out of ideas, and B, you probably fall back on some terrible tropes, and then C, you probably just have a lot of burnt out people around you who are saying, yeah, go with that. That's fine. And as I've said many times before, nobody sets out to make a bad show. It's kind of a miracle that any show happens at all, much less a good one. So something like this comes along and you can very easily in hindsight, and believe me, their hindsight might have been very short on this, where they see the final product and just go, oh God, what did we do here? Um, but it is also a show that was not good because it was just not a good episode. It is also not aged well because of the very weird sexist and homophobic and transphobic stereotypes that are going on in there. It's a big missed opportunity, a
Yeah.
big botched episode, and thank you for sharing in our pain, Alex. Norman, where can people find us?
So if you'd like to engage with us, as Alex just did, and if you want to send us emails or messages that lift our spirits, as Alex just did, you can find us here on YouTube at Roddenberry Prod. You can also subscribe to our playlist here at Mission Log Engage. Send us your comments, as always, to missionlog@roddenberry.com. You can also find us on Facebook and on Twitter at Mission Log Pod. And remember, we may engage with your comments on the air.